What's a domain and why do I need one? Every website has a domain. This is the address of the site, such as facebook.com or mywebsite.net. It's what you type into your computer or phone to go to that site. It also shows up in search results. The fancy name for a domain is the Uniform Resource Locator, or URL, but we'll just say domain to keep things simple. A domain is like an address for your house. Without a street address, no one could find you. You can't have a website without a domain. So where do I get a domain? There are lots of companies that sell domains. They're called domain registrars. Actually, they don't really sell them. They only rent them. This is very important. Domains can only be rented. You cannot buy one outright as a one-time purchase. Once you get a domain, you will have to renew it every year if you want to keep using it. Most companies let you pay for several years at a time, but you'll eventually have to renew it. It doesn't really matter where you get your domain, but I recommend hover.com. They give you something called domain privacy for free. Most other companies charge extra for it. This keeps your contact information private. You may have wondered why most domains end in .com while others end in .net, .org, .edu, or other things. This is called the top-level domain and is used to indicate the type of business or organization. .com means commercial, .org is for organizations, and .edu is for schools. You can use any of these, but if you have a business, .com is always the best choice. If your ideal domain with .com is already taken, you may want to use .net instead. I'll talk more about that later. Most domains will cost about $15 per year, but some top-level domains, such as .tv, can be more expensive, but you probably shouldn't use those anyway. Here's a pricing chart from Hover. For example, you can see that a .com domain is $12.99 per year, while a .net domain is $15.49 per year. When choosing a domain name for your business, be prepared to find out that your first and maybe second choices are already taken. Here are a few tips for choosing a good domain. Shorter is better within reason. The longer your domain is, the greater the chance someone will type it in wrong, get an error message, and give up looking for your site, and you just lost a customer. Your domain does not have to be the name of your business. Domains matter a lot in search results, so if you have a landscaping business but your business name is Wilson Associates, come up with a domain that includes the word landscaping or landscapers. Don't use unusual spellings in your domain. Don't use dashes or underscores. Domains are case insensitive, so putting capital letters in it is a waste of time. Use lowercase. Here are a few more tips. Using search terms in a domain can be a good idea. These are the words people are likely to use when searching for a business like yours. Here's an example. Let's say you live in Twin City and have an acupuncture clinic. You might think to use twincityclinic.com for your domain, but that's a poor choice. A better choice would be twincityacupuncture.com, since people are likely to search for Twin City and acupuncture. By using search terms in your domain, you increase the chances of people finding your site. Beware of web design companies that offer you a free domain. In many cases, they own the domain, not you, and they can charge you a lot to transfer it somewhere else. Get your domain separately from your hosting. Although many hosting companies will also sell you a domain, keeping these separate will make your life easier if you decide to switch hosting to another company. Finally, never let your web designer buy your domain for you. I've heard too many horror stories from people who did this. The designer will own the domain, and you may have trouble reaching them if you decide to go with a different designer later. Always get your domain on your own. It's an important business asset, and you should control it. Now that we've covered the basics, let's get our domain. The steps I show here are for hover.com, but the process is similar for all domain registrars. Go to hover.com and enter your first choice in the search box. Then click on the search icon or press the return key. After a few seconds, you'll see a results page. If you're lucky, the domain will be available at the regular price. That's what happens if you're lucky. If you're not so lucky, this happens. The domain comes up as available, but at a ridiculous price. This means that the domain has been grabbed by a domain broker who bought it in the hope that someone would be willing to pay a lot for it. With some registrars, you might see something that says the domain is available for auction or a Make an Offer button. Unless you have money to burn, forget about this. You'll need to pick something different. At this point, you have a decision to make. You can try your preferred domain with a different top-level domain, such as .net. Or you can try a different .com domain. There's no easy answer here. For a business website, .com is always better if possible, but if your second, third, and fourth choices are also taken, a .net domain might be your best bet. So let's assume that your first choice is available, or you've settled on an alternate one. Click on the Add to Cart button, then click on the cart icon. This will take you to the cart page. From here, you can choose how long to secure your domain, usually 1, 2, or 3 years at a time. Whichever you choose, the company will remind you when it's time to renew. Scroll down and click the Checkout button. This will take you to the checkout page. Fill out all of the information here. You will be asked to enter a username and password. These are really important. You or your web developer will need this to connect the domain to your website. Make sure to copy these things down in a safe place. Some registrars try to get you to buy additional products or services at the checkout, such as an email package or a website builder. Ignore these, you don't need any of them. Once you pay, the registrar will send you an email confirming your purchase. That's it. You're done. One more thing. Once you have a domain, you might get a letter in the mail from a company called IDNS, Domain Registry, or something else. This letter will have something like Domain Name Expiration Notice at the top. At a quick glance, it looks like a bill to renew your domain. But if you look closely, you'll see it says, "This notice is not a bill." It's not a bill. It's a scam. These companies send these out hoping that people will think it's a bill and pay it. Once you do that, you are giving them permission to transfer your domain to them so they can charge you $50 a year to renew it instead of $15. Your actual domain registrar will only communicate with you through email. If you get one of these letters, throw it away. That being said, don't ignore the renewal notice your domain registrar will send you. Once you lose a domain, you may never get it back.
If you need a professional, marketing-focused website that really works for you, but don't think you can afford one, go right now to websiteinOneweek.com